Hi, my name is William Caldero, Intro to Humanities, Professor Ball. I did Georgia O'Keeffe. She was born in 1887, Wisconsin. At age 10, she had already chosen a profession. She knew she wanted to be an artist. Growing up, she ended up in 1905. She went to the Chicago Art Institute. 1907, she goes to the Art Students League in New York, meets stuff. She looks at galleries, sees some abstract painters while she's there. 1912, she's in the University of Virginia, and she discovers Arthur Dow. Now, Dow, well, everything she's known is basically realist stuff. She paints what she sees. But Dow influenced her because his art is based on personal style. And from there on, her interpretation of how she sees things is really how she reapproaches her art. So while she's teaching around 1915 in Texas, she goes back to Virginia to teach during the summers. She's doing these charcoal drawings, something that she's inspired to do when she found out a new approach to art. She sends those off, and those get in the hands of a guy named Alfred Stieglitz. Now, Stieglitz ends up being her husband. He does get some of these drawings. He puts them in his gallery, 921, and he's known as a photographer, but he does love abstract art. And this is the first time he's seen a woman express herself through this type of art. So in 1918, he invites her to New York, and he finances her. She stays in an apartment, and she just focuses on her career. She's just drawing, getting ready for an exhibit. They end up getting married in 1924, and while they're married, she's doing she takes trips up to Lake George, a family home for the Stieglitz, and that's when she starts doing her nature scenes. She did do some New York landscape skyscraper paintings, but in most of the stuff she's famous for is going to be her natural, like nature, up close, flowers, and her take on outdoor landscapes there. And so in 1924, Stieglitz does he's a photographer, and he does a lot of intimate photos of her, and those go on display before her big show. Now, through these photos that he's got in the gallery, a lot of critics come through and they look at it, and then he sees that she's sexualized, she's a modern woman, and, Stieglitz gets all his photos out and everyone's looking at them, but when she goes and does her show, everything gets just sexualized. All her paintings and everything just kind of get interpreted as a modern woman, a sexual person. Everything has to be, sexualized, sexual expression, and that's something she did not like. She just wanted to draw, she wanted to paint, and she wanted to just fill the space with whatever she thought was necessary, what she saw beauty in. And so that really kind of upset her, and it pushed her to do just back to realistic art. She didn't paint art abstract views for a little bit, but even critics then would take a painting of a pear and somehow sexualize it. So in 1929, she takes a trip. Oh, well, hold on. Nobody. She's quoted as singing, "Nobody sees a flower really. It is so small it takes time. We haven't time, and to see takes time. Like to have a friend takes time." So most of her pictures are, you can see why the red canna. You see how close up it is. This is a large canvas or oil on canvas. It's got bold colors, contrasting colors, and the lines are kind of diagonal. So you see a lot of beauty in here, a lot of bright colors, a lot of contrasting colors, different angles and lines. This is one of her more famous paintings. She's really well known for, like I said, up close pictures of portraits of flowers. But then in 1929, she visits New Mexico, and it really re-inspires her for her abstract work. And here's some more Lake George. She has another quote of, "I found I could say things with color and shape that I couldn't say in any other way. Things I had no words for." And you can see why some of these paintings she's known to have done by Lake George. I mean, she uses color, lines, and she fills all the space with beauty. In New Mexico, she's done a lot of paintings in the desert. She's you got the rust red hills, oil paintings, the landscape, multicolor. You can tell that she's using light to really how it reflects off things in these hills. She's using thin lines, heavy lines, dark paint, light paint. But you can tell how she's using light to really show all that. This was actually done in 1930, so right after she'd gone to New Mexico. So she's getting back into abstract. She's using dark brushes, multicolors with the landscape. Another quote she has is, "To create one's world in any of the arts takes courage." Here you go. She's contrasting life and death. You got the hills, you got the skulls she finds in the desert, backgrounds, how she uses focus. But New Mexico really inspires her to really just get back into her abstract works. But in 1929 or 46, her husband dies, and she settles his estate. In 49, she moves there, down to Ghost Ranch. And in Ghost Ranch, it's basically where most of her photos are done at. But after that, in the 1950s, she starts to travel a lot, sees the world. She starts painting things that inspire her. And one thing is like normal, like when you're traveling on an airplane anywhere, the first thing you do is you kind of open the window and you look out. And this is what inspired her Sky series. She's in her 70s when she's doing these, and the Sky Above Clouds is a painting on canvas, oil on canvas, done in 1965. And this is a huge mural. I mean, it's 8 foot by 24 foot. It's basically what she saw when she looked out the window. If you didn't know it was clouds, I mean, you could probably guess it could be icebergs floating around the water. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's just such a large mural, I couldn't imagine being in front of it. I mean, it'd just be everywhere. But you get it, like everyone's that's been on an airplane knows that when you look out the window and you look down, that's what you see is just clouds and sky, and you really don't know. But she takes that, and in her 70s, she's able to be inspired by simply looking out the window, and that's kind of her thing. That's what she's always done. She uses these soft light colors and dark blue, but everything's, and like I said, she uses light again here. You can really contrast. You don't know if it's sun up, sunrise, sunset maybe. But like I said, it's a huge mural, and this was done in her 70s. And for Georgia O'Keeffe, she dies in 1886. But she had a huge impact on life. Um, she lived to be pretty old, and for most of her life, 70 years maybe, 7 decades, she contributed to the world of art. She was not only the first American to start getting into uh, American modernism and abstract artwork, but she was the first woman to do it. Um, she's also the first woman to get solo venues. Back then, in the early 1900s, it was, I mean, still kind of a man's world. So for her, not only to be sexualized back then, but also to um, be the first to break the barrier, to open the door for women artists. She does a great job, really just representing, because she wasn't just a one hit. I mean, she did it well into her 70s. She was just a pretty amazing lady. Her legacy is going to live on, because, I mean, I could look at stuff and not do anything with it. She sees things just, or she saw things that were just, um, and just a whole different world. Just like any real artist, they reimagine things, see things in different views that you can't just interpret unless you see it through their eyes, and that's what she does. She paints beauty from her perspective, and we get to enjoy it. um, to reiterate her quote, I mean, it's just, it takes courage to reinterpret life, your art. So uh, that's all I have. Appreciate your time. Thanks.